What's shaking? Hey, I'm Rick Jordan. Today, we're going all in. It's kind of cool because I'm going to get to you. My team will send you all the raw assets when we're done too. It's just a gift because you don't have to rebrand it, anything. Content creation, it can be a full-time job. So here, have some. You're going to have some great things that you say, reuse
Thank
it.
you.
You bet. You bet.
I despise content creation. That's why I hired. Despise.
I despise the process of it, but I like the activities of it. I like speaking on stages. I like talking to my coaching clients. I like building a public company. But then all of it after that, it's like, if you can just capture me doing that all day long, I say a lot of good shit like every minute of the day. You know?
Yes.
So,
Say the same thing to my CMO. I'm like, I like talking. Just just let me talk and take all the things that I say and make it beautiful and into social media posts.
I like that. I like that a lot. Yep. So it's kind of cool here because I'm looking at, my team's nice and they come up with this nice little sheet for me, and I looked at your website a couple of weeks ago too. So selfishly, I'm probably going to start asking about like an assistant, because you do assistant recruiting. Mm-hmm. Is that like a core part of your business?
It is my business.
That is the business.
Yep. Okay. I'm a specialized recruiter and coach. So I specialize in that relationship between an executive and their assistant. I do quite a lot of recruiting and I do coaching on both sides. I help assistants be the best versions of themselves, and I help the executives know what to do with this beautiful piece of technology called the executive assistant.
A beautiful piece. You mean human tech, biotech.
Human technology.
That is. I like that. That's kind of fun. That's sort of like which, by the way, we're recording. We're talking already. This is the show. Good. I know, yeah. But it's intriguing because I think that might be some branding there for you. Biotech. And EA really is like biotech for you.
Humans, yes. We always are scared robots are going to take over our job, and it's just never going to happen.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's a huge, all right. So here's a great question for you going into this now. Like, I've got an event I'm speaking at this week in Creative Con, and I'm doing 2 sessions. One is about, it's my main stage keynote, which is around using your personal brand to monetize everything else, right? And the other one is about monetizing AI. Yeah, and it's AI is used everywhere. I mean, even within a cybersecurity company, obviously people are like, oh, that makes sense. And I'm like, no, I don't think you get it. We're not out there with like large language modules like or models like going through how to talk to people.
Right.
We're actually analyzing data with it, to help more efficiently solve trouble tickets and reduce the time we spend on them by like 35%.
Yeah.
But to your points, and I want to hear about this like specifically from the executive assistant side, because there's a lot that I even think that a lot of lawyers can be replaced eventually, with AI. Seriously, yeah. And even my general counsel says the same thing, and he's been a litigator for 45 years, like a strategist, So in my industry, it's like, no, we're trying to do this. We're not trying to eliminate people. We want to grow, which this makes us more scalable.
Absolutely.
So from an executive assistant perspective, it's like, where do you see are CEOs just not getting it that AI is meant to help do more? Or are they thinking, oh, I can replace my EA, or I don't have to hire an EA because of AI?
Yeah, I think there's fear on all sides. I think the executive assistants or the assistant community themselves are fearful that this new and weird technology is going to take over their jobs, which I personally do not believe that it will. This is about the most human type of job there possibly can be, and there's certain aspects of an administrative staff or administrative partner. I'm sorry, do we want to do that again?
No, you're fine. I mean, that's just a ding ding, right? That's like a dog barking in the background. Hey, Joe Rogan has his dog in on the show, so I mean, I think we're okay.
Rookie mistake.
Welcome to humans.
Rookie mistake. So again, there's fear on both sides that it was going to take over our job. Yeah. And then from the executive's point of view, the executives that have assistants that only do calendar, only do travel, that they're not being utilized to their full extent. Sure, you could maybe put a robot in there and get the same input that you're putting in the output. Sure. Yeah. But at the end of the day, again, this is the most human position that there's forethought, and I have to understand you as a human being before I can anticipate your needs. And there's just no robot that's ever going to be able to do that. But again, it'll help us. I'm doing an AI session next weekend, as a matter of fact, for executive assistants completely, just to take off the sting. Like, let's move with it. Let's learn about it. Let's use it to help our jobs. Let's not run away from it, because
Yep. There's so many. Everyone thinks AI too, and they think ChatGPT, right? Which is that's the big one that's known. I mean, I use it. Everybody uses it. I also use Claude, and we use a couple other LLMs. Now, you're doing this class on AI for EAs. So many like 2-letter acronyms going on now. You're doing AI for EAs, yeah. So, have you seen or played around with yet the new operator functionality with ChatGPT?
I have not.
All right. So look into this before the thing, because this is intriguing. And I love this because this is like in my niche too, right? It's if you, everybody listening, if you haven't seen this yet, the operator is only available on the $200 a month plan from OpenAI. And the whole thing is just like you're talking about, Monique, is, a lot of EAs are being used just to like book travel and do all these things. The operator does that. Like, you give it access and it can go out and find open restaurants in a specific cuisine, and it integrates and can log in as you to Open Table and make that reservation for you within a specific time window. Or it can go out and scrape data off of lots of different sites and do research for you if you give it specific parameters. Like, it is truly autonomous. I mean, that's why they called it operator, to go out and do a lot of those low-level functions. And I'm saying it this way because I'm actually complimenting EAs in this process, like the low-level functions that CEOs will typically minimize their EA to doing, rather than actually being like a right arm, truly a right arm. So imagine that. I mean, I think from a CEO's perspective, like if I had somebody who was an EA that truly knew the power and fully utilized the power of AI, I would think they're the best thing ever.
Yeah. Make their jobs easier. I mean, it also shows that they're in growth mode, that they like to learn new things, that they're not stuck in their ways, that they have an open mindset. There's a lot that goes on with it, not just the raw AI uses for it. But
Yeah. I'll be vulnerable here too. I don't know how to fully and best use an EA. Although what I've learned so far over the last year and going public in the last 15 months is that there's less and less of like the menial tasks that I should be doing.
Yes.
And there's so many of them. When I become aware of it, it's like there's so many of these things. It's like, well, I should have, this only takes 5 minutes, but I should have somebody else do this. This only takes 8 minutes, but I seriously should have somebody else do this. So I can stay focused on my lane and what's right in front of me.
Well, I mean, this is the big issue that we have on both sides. Executive assistants and assistants don't necessarily know how to talk about our value and how to really, because we don't work in tangible, we don't have a percentage or amount of money that we can make the company at the end of the month. It's very hard to put our job into tangible, reportable statistics. However, the job that we do is completely essential. And I feel terrible for the executives because y'all were never taught how to have an assistant. It's like a CEO just becomes really successful one day, and either they get a promotion at their job or they start their own gig, and they're getting more and more and more successful. And somebody goes, "Here's Linda. She's your EA." And they're like, what is
I've been in those shoes, Monique.
Because there's no understanding of, there's no concrete description of what an EA does. That they do different things for every single executive out there. So I feel for both sides. So that's why I do the coaching. That's why I sit with my executives before I recruit their clients and say, tell me what your problem, your pain points are. Tell me what's going on. Here's how you delegate. Here's how you communicate. Here are some of the low-hanging fruit that you can give off. Here's how you give feedback to an EA. Here's how you do performance reviews. It's an instruction manual that's not hard to learn, but you've never been given the instruction manual.
Yeah, I'm with you. Here's a question then, all right? Because this is coming from a very, very ignorant CEO. I'm saying me. When it comes to something like this, it's so crazy though, right? Because I'm the CEO of a public company, and I'm totally vulnerable and humble that way, right? I'm ignorant when it comes to fully being able to utilize an EA. I've had them, have not had them. Right now I have 3 people in what I call my executive office, but they function in different areas. I have a PA, a personal assistant. I have someone who kind of functions and does some things for me, but like an EA would do, at least what I would think an EA would do. And then I also have somebody who just is like on projects. They kind of like dive into different areas of my company because I know that I can just give them something. They can go figure it out. Like if there's a problem in a specific area, but it's more operations related, totally. I had almost envisioned, like maybe I'm wrong on this because this is the ignorance, a true EA being almost like, I know chief of staff is used too, but almost like that executive's person, like for everything, to where it's like even like they'll arrange to have water for me before I go on stage. Whether they execute and actually do the action or not, they'll make sure that it's there.
Yeah.
All the way to handling a complex draft of a legal document to read through it first before they send it to me and mark up some things that I need to especially pay some attention to.
When it works, when it's successful, when this partnership is the best version of itself, the assistant and the executive have exactly the same goals. They are going in the exact same direction. They know exactly what is going to change the business, change the environment, do what it is that it needs to do. They just have different skills to get there. Your skills are your skills, but you need someone to, and when I worked with Simon, as you probably saw on my, on my website, when I worked with Simon, yes, I mean, we both had the same goal. He needed to get on stage and inspire hundreds of thousands of people. I did everything that was in my power to get him there and make sure I was successful. Yeah. We had the same goal. Yeah. We were on the same team. He shared his vulnerabilities and his life and his needs with me, and I did everything I can to fulfill all of it. So that's what a true executive assistant can do. It's so way beyond calendar, email. I mean, it is that, but it's the foresight that goes along with it. What's the good calendar thing that needs to get on your calendar? That's something a robot will never be able to do. Like, hey, you know what? You pushed Mary off 6 times now, and she knows Jim, and Jim knows Bob. So we should really make sure that Mary gets the call. You're never going to get that from AI. It's the foresight to take care of the human so that you can be the best version of yourself.
I love that. Seriously. Yeah. And I did read that you worked with Simon, and it's like those high profile individuals. It's really more high performance individuals, that need to have somebody that really understands every single aspect of themselves.
We were equally high performance. He used to say all the time, it's not, he never referred to me as his assistant. I was chief of Simon. He in fact referred to me as his boss because, I got him to where he needed to be, but it was truly a partnership, and that's what it needs to be. Open communication, open talking. I always say to my executives, like, I don't know what to give my assistant. And I was like, the best person to ask that question, your assistant. Yeah. Bring them into your office and go, I don't know what I'm doing. Here's what's keeping me up at night. Blech. And the person on the other side of the table with her pen and pad is going to come up with a 10-point plan to make your needs happen.
Yeah.
It's a way that we think. We're in it, tinkering, where you can have the vision. So I think it's essential on both sides. I've known visionaries that don't have the architects without the builders.
Yeah, no joke.
Just drawing pretty pictures,
Yep. That's a great analogy. I love that. As you're talking, I'm starting to think, are there some CEOs, some executives that have you seen ego get in the way? Because you're like, hey, bring your assistant in, like dump on it. It's like if they're saying, well, I don't know how to do this. Can you just figure this out for me? It's like, I do that with 2 people in my quote unquote executive office right now. Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't have the time for this. I really don't know what the problem is or how to fix it. Can you just go figure it out?
Yeah. So the question was, does ego get in the way?
Yeah. Yeah, from the executive to the EA.
Yeah. I would say more than half of the relationships that I've seen not work is solely because of the ego of the executive. Wow. They don't understand that this is a partnership, that this takes 2 to tango, that you actually have to spend more than 3 minutes a month with your assistant in order for them to understand your world. Yeah. And then, it's like, if you're not using this person correctly, what do you want me to tell you?
Yep.
So I would say ego is huge. They don't want to be vulnerable. They don't want to talk about their weaknesses. They don't want to share confidential information just because, if somebody takes something away from me, what does that make for me? I've always done it this way. I've always done my calendar.
I've always done my
Well, you always used to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
Think about 20 years ago, you always used to do a lot of things. Do you still always do those things?
That's funny.
No.
I absolutely love, like, I saw it. One of the best examples I ever saw was Gabriel Iglesias, the comedian, right? And he was all excited about meeting Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he was like in this line, and he saw it's like, not really an EA, but somewhat of a function, like somebody to keep him on schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So as he's meeting and greeting people, he'd have a handler in essence, which I suppose would be a role that an EA would play, right?
Oh yeah. That was a big part of my role when I worked with Simon.
I bet. Yeah. I mean, this guy
controller. Yeah. Moved right along. Sure.
Yeah, but I would love that. It's like, hey, you've got 5 minutes before this next meeting. You really need to wrap it up. I'll be like, oh, okay, because I go long. I just do, like in the middle of meetings and everything. Yeah, this handler would be like, Arnold would be like, hey, nice to meet you, and all this, but then he'd like, same thing, but then the guy would like squeeze him on his shoulder twice, and then he would go to the next person. Just to make sure he kept in line with it. I love that.
A big piece of that. I mean, think about what that's doing. Think about the end result. And this is why I say a lot of what we do isn't tangible, but think about the end result of that. You have someone now that's going to keep you on time, whether they're sitting outside your office, giving you the old thing, whether they're texting you, you've got to leave in 3 minutes. The car is sitting out front from you. The guy driving leave. But think about what that does. That means your clients are going to be happier with you because you're responding to things and you're showing up on time and you know what's happening in the meeting and you're not late and you're not giving excuses as to why you're not there or why you're late or why you didn't get back to someone. That's business development, that's client relations, that's sales. It might seem like it's just details, but look what it's
so much more.
What would it mean to you that if you were on time for every meeting for the rest of the year?
It'd be incredible. If there was the impression of me that I had from people that I communicated with, that I was always on top of my communications, that would be incredible. Because I mean, that's reputation management. That's another function.
Reputation management, absolutely.
Yes. Yep.
So yeah,
that's amazing. All right, I've got 2 questions here. Right, they're an inverse of each other. I'm sure you're going to see where this is going. The one thing that comes top of mind that you wish that CEOs knew about EAs.
Okay. The one thing that I wish CEOs knew about EAs, how do I put this into one sentence? It's a little bit like respect the skill set. I wish they understood how important this skill set is for a visionary, for a CEO, for an entrepreneur, for an executive with ideas. Having someone who can break apart the machine and make it work again, having that builder. If you're an architect and you don't have a builder, you're missing out on the product being built. So I wish more executives knew how important the builder is.
That's
to get what they need done.
Solid and concrete. I love that. Now lighten it up a little. What's one quirky thing you wish CEOs knew about EAs?
One quirky thing?
Yeah.
You know what? If you need sort of a bodyguard, like don't mess with your EA. Like if you
really?
get a EA, if you get someone who you treat like the wonderful human they are, and they treat you like the wonderful human being that they are. I mean, seriously, like I would have jumped in front of a bullet for Simon, because we just had such a great partnership. And, we're the ones that can say, I'm really sorry. I have to cancel this meeting again. I'm so sorry. Yep. We can be that line of defense, and, we can help you be mean to people if you need us to be.
I like that. Before we go into the inverse of these, Monique, you're awesome. Before we go into the inverse of these, maybe that's a tip for some EAs out there. Or maybe they're just not right for the role, because I've experienced this personally with a couple of EAs that I've had, and then I've also talked with a couple other executives that have gone through similar things. Maybe it's just not the right person for the job, wrong person, wrong seat. That could be. But I have seen some emotional attachment, like what you're saying, like it's like the person to cancel the meeting for the third time. It's like all of a sudden they take it upon themselves, which is ego as well, like as an EA to be like, oh, now I'm going to look bad. Yeah. How does someone get over that? Or is that truly just like the wrong person for the wrong seat?
Are you talking about the EA? Not one that's
yeah.
to give the bad news?
Yep.
I mean, that's part of the job. If you truly don't like doing it, you're going to have a really hard time in this role. Because that's what it is. I mean, we're constantly moving things around, moving schedules, moving people, new ideas come up, new priorities show up.
Yeah.
An executive gets a new idea. It's not coming from us. We're sort of that middleman. It is tough.
Yeah.
It is really hard, especially when someone's been waiting, what they need, that they're worth it. And, the executive just keeps telling you to blow them off. It's painful. It is a painful seat to be in.
Yeah. I'm
you
sure
recognize that too, executives out there.
There you go. It's, I'm sure, no doubt. Now the flip side, what is the one top of mind thing that you have that you wish EAs knew about CEOs?
I wish they knew that when they do something wrong, it's probably not because they mean to, it's because of ignorance. Just like I said, I think assistants sometimes incorrectly go into relationships thinking that their executives know what to do with them, that they've been given that instruction manual, that they've been told how to use this person. And 9 times out of 10, they haven't. So, they sit in these positions and they go, oh, it doesn't talk to me and it doesn't communicate to me and he doesn't. It's probably because he just doesn't know. Like we need to be the ones to go, hey, these are my magic tricks. These are things I can do, and sort of take them away. So yeah, I wish assistants knew that sometimes a lot of this is teaching and training.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I mean, truly coming from this side of things, it's like I'm still learning too how to best utilize team, and I'm sure I always will learn. I get better and better, but I always will. All right, quirky thing this way. What's one thing you wish EAs knew about CEOs? It's kind of like, what?
Well, they're just that they're goofy human beings. That there is no more powerful person than another person. I had
they're still human,
meeting
right?
so many wonderful people when I worked with Simon, and everyone's like, oh my God, Simon. He's truly like one of my favorite people in the world.
Yeah.
He's a human person. And I think oftentimes, especially at big organizations, big corporations, or, if they tend to be famous, or even if they just hold themselves in that commanding manner, that they're somehow above, that they don't make mistakes, that they're just goofy, weird humans. I think that's the quirky thing that
I like that.
Weird humans.
Or that they don't have a weird morning ritual with like 2 espressos.
We're just messy, weird, smelly humans. We're just bumbling around this earth trying to figure it all out.
Yep.
So
totally with you. That's awesome. Monique, you're incredible, seriously, because you've been through the ringer on a lot of things, and I'm telling you, anybody who's listening that's in either side, I think they should be coached by you.
Thank you.
Seriously, because it's hard, and I'm still trying to find the right person at the right time myself for something like this. I have filled every other role in my executive support office but this.
Yeah. And this is one of the reasons that I love this recruiting part of what I do so much, is because this is a hard match. This is not like hiring any other person in your organization. This isn't, you hire someone for marketing and you look at their resume and they've done great things. So, you can sort of, for lack of a better word, plug and play them into your world. You can say, hey, marketing person, you do great stuff. Here's our colors and our brand, our thing and our whatever. The recruiting part of it for an assistant is very different because it is based more on values and personality and humanity than it is skill set. Because at the end of the day, you need to like this person enough that you want to call them and go, hey, what's on my calendar next?
Yeah.
So I do a lot of fit for personality, for strengths, for skills, for, values. Habits and traits. So it is a really hard position to fill for. So I understand why it's been so difficult for everyone. you
I
know,
like that. Yeah.
and you're hiring your opposite. So,
No joke.
I had an executive once tell me, he's like, I need an assistant to hire my assistant because I have no idea how to hire an assistant.
Yeah, I love that.
I get it.
That's awesome. Monique, you are a talented individual. I love where you've come from and where you're going.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate your insights. I mean, some of my questions were definitely a bit selfish, and
I love it. I love it. And I love your insights. I was listening to some of your podcasts. I love the one on accountability. I bang the drum on accountability all the time. And you were like so forceful in that podcast. I loved it.
Oh my gosh.
Take responsibility.
Seriously. Yes. And well, this like coming from a CEO in the context of our conversation too. It's like, that's it. It's like when you fuck up, but it's like the only way to have it be done is to just say, I did it. Here's how I'm going to try to fix it. That's owning up to it. That's accountability.
Right.
Yep.
Amen. Amen. And that fits in this position,
For sure.
On both sides, hey, the executive, you know what? I fucked up. I don't know how I'm doing in this relationship. I don't know what we're doing. Can we hit the reset button? Just be open. Just be vulnerable. Just say the thing. But take responsibility for sure. I love it. I love that podcast.
That's awesome. Thank you. We'll put that in the show notes. Thanks for the plug.
Put that in the show notes.
For my own show. Yeah,
I love it. If you're out there listening to this podcast,
I love it.
On accountability.
Everybody needs to go to Monique Helstrom. I got two different spellings.
Helstrom,
yeah. I have your name. Okay, it's Helstrom. Yes.
Monique Helstrom, yeah.
STROM.
Yes.
MoniqueHelstrom.com and at Monique J. Helstrom on Instagram. She's incredible. She can just provide the person that's going to support you. She can support the person that supports you. How about that? All right. Thank you, Monique.
Thank you so much.